So hi, I'm Mickey. I'm a lead engineer of hardware and production at NiviWatch. And my presentation aims to give you a new perspective on using wearable devices as a way to enable digitization of existing work processes. I will show you on a specific use case how a company can leverage digitization of existing processes to optimize their operations. Why is this an interesting topic? A typical industrial enterprise, even to this day, is still, most of their employees doesn't have any digital footprint at all. So they don't use any smart devices as their work tool to help with their daily tasks. So there is an immense opportunity to improve their work processes, improve safety, improve productivity using wearable devices, and at the same time gain insight into how actually the work processes are taking place at the same time. So let's begin by breaking down a workforce distribution for a typical industrial enterprise. Imagine a medium-sized company, and to make the numbers easier, let's say it has 1,000 employees. From our experience, the breakdown of the workers of this company looks something like this. Coming from the left, 700 of these 1,000, or 70%, is the actual productive workforce in production and logistics. Another 250 or 25% is sales or sales-related workforce, and the remaining is at HQ and management. How do these people perform their daily tasks, or how do they work? People at the HQ are mostly using, as their work tool is a notebook or a desk PC, so they are fully digitized, not much to do here. Salespeople typically are mobile, so they are well covered by Resco mobile CRM as a mobile sales solution. But the remaining workers mostly doesn't use any digital device as their daily work tool. Some of them occasionally, at some time, use some device or other, but very often it's a barcode terminal or something like that. But most of the time, they don't use any smart devices to help with their daily tasks. Since they don't use smart devices, this goes hand in hand with rigid schedules that are inflexible, not able to react on changing schedules and changing demands. Many of the current work processes for these employees are archaic. Imagine like a big spreadsheet printed out every morning and put it on a notice board for every worker to come in and check what's their today's tasks. So there is, as I said, an immense opportunity to aid these workers in their work processes, and at the same time gain insight on how to optimize the workflow and to streamline their processes using wearable devices. We'll show you how on a more specific use case. So let's go to a more specific use case. This is a big. It's a retail chain in Slovakia. This single retail chain has more than 160 stores throughout the country and employs more than 4,000 employees. Their typical. This is like the floor plan. Here you can see most of the stores look very much alike, so they are very similar. We can partition the store, the warehouse, other processing areas and departments by their function. Localization of these departments are done by marking them with a Bluetooth beacon. Working in a store like this is very streamlined. Each department has a more or less specific set of tasks that needs to be done regularly every day or throughout the work week. To illustrate this situation in more detail, let's focus on one specific department, for example, fruits and vegetables. Here's a list of typical tasks that are repeatedly need to be done or performed in this department. At first, like sanitary tasks, this is like cleaning up and so on. It's like four times a day, each task takes like 6 minutes. Quality control, it means like checking the need for restocking of the shelves and so on, 7 times a day, 14 minutes. These are exact examples from this use case we already had. Another task, administrative task, once a day, 30 minutes, it's like a morning orientation or something. Depreciation of disposal of spoiled goods. Twice a day they check the shelves if there is anything need to be changed. End of the day code storage of unsold goods and so on. These are existing processes that they already plan out for each day to be performed. And the schedule to perform this and schedule to perform this task by some way or another. As I mentioned, most of the time it was like a big spreadsheet, paper spreadsheet, printed out every morning, put it on a notice board. So you can take these processes and input them into input these schedules into our task board we built on top of Microsoft Power Platform. This way you can visualize the same task in a straightforward way. Workers or group of workers can be assigned with smartwatches, can be assigned to these tasks. Devices will prompt the users to a specific task. This can be predetermined, or it can be dynamically depending on availability if the worker does other tasks and so on. So tasks can be even triggered by entering a specific area by proximity to that area. If it doesn't matter who does the task, it just needs to be performed. In the task board, you immediately can see the feedback from usage. You can see if the task was accepted, if it was postponed, when it was performed, how long it took, and so on. By auditing these data, you can immediately see which tasks were performed, which were postponed, how often the area was serviced, and so on. By comparing this data from different departments, for example, in different stores, the same department from different stores, you can benchmark the performance of between stores if you can optimize it somehow or not. And by comparing historical data from the same department combined with other process data like goods sold or sales numbers and so on, you can track the performance if you change something inside the department or like reposition shelves and so on. So what do you need to achieve this kind of insight? What do you need to do to perform this? First, you need to equip employees with the selected in the selected operations with some kind of a smart device like a smartwatch. You can use the off-the-shelf smartwatches or purpose-built devices more specifically tailored for these industries. The devices are preloaded with our software, managing interactions with the task and sensor data gathering in the background. Of course, there is some necessary logistics involved to managing a large fleet of these devices, so we can help you with that too. For bigger scale, we can provide you multi-charging stations to simplify device management and connectivity and so on. As a side note, before that I mentioned already that barcode terminals are already smart devices. Most of them are running Android, so these devices can be enrolled for this functionality also throughout their already existing device management and so on. So there is a possibility to use existing devices if they already have some. On the software side, this is very straightforward. Tasks are predefined in the task board. Task watches are delivered automatically. If the task is due, we designed the UI for these little screens, small screens, to be as frictionless as possible. If the task is due, watch will vibrate and display the display will notify the user, can accept the task, decline it, postpone it, and so on. If the task is accepted, after some time it will get a notification if the task was already completed or not, to get more accurate timing of these tasks and so on. Tasks can have fixed schedules or can also be, if you use the indoor localization, it can be triggered by proximity of a specific area. Using smartwatches to perform this task management requires a certain diligence from the user to interact with the watch, so not to forget it or ignore it. accepting tasks, confirming them, confirming completion, and so on. This process needs to be as frictionless as possible, otherwise the users will not accept it. The ideal scenario is that they don't interact with the watch at all. The only requirement is that they have it with them. To achieve this, we can utilize AI or machine learning, more specifically, to automatically determine which task is being performed. This process is as a typical AI or machine learning process. We gather a lot of data, combine it with the tasks that are predefined, these schedules, and in the next days, we train a model to recognize which task is actually performed, analyze the data, and test it and give it feedback to make it more reliable, and then deploy it to the actual watches. So the watches will determine on the edge that which task is performed and how. There is no need to interaction. This is done automatically. So to get an idea of what type and what kind of data we gather from the working processes, mainly we record time and duration of a specific spent in a specific department or area. Along with that, we gather sensor data like step count and metadata like how physically demanding was the task, how exhausting was it, and something like this. This is a measure from other sensors combined to make like a measure of how difficult it is. And of course, other sensor data are also available depending on the specific hardware used for this, like accelerometer data, gyroscope, and heart rate, and so on. If these data doesn't leave the device, if it is local to that device, so of course it can be gathered, but it doesn't need to be. This is completely anonymous, so it doesn't need because of data security and so on. The result is a complete. What was the achieved result? Oh, okay. Was for the customer is a complete digitization of the work activities of the retail employees. Before that, like the shop floor employees didn't use any device for this. So combining this task management with the data from the smartwatches, activities, and sensors, with this AI to determine the actual work performed, we gain insight into insight into the actual workflow, how these people actually perform their tasks. Tasks not as they were planned, but as they were actually performed, which could be a big difference as we learned and as the customer also learned. So coming to the benefits. Okay. So coming to the benefits, what are the benefits of a solution like this? First, business intelligence. You gain insight to the actual workflow compared to the idealized or imagined one, how work should be done and so on. Reality can be quite different compared to the estimates of tasks, complexity, duration, and physical demand. And as a second, actionable insight. You correlating these data, smartwatch data, to the other processes, other process data you have already at your site, like sales numbers, amount of product moved, and so on. You can support decision-making to increase worker safety, increase quality, increase productivity, decrease the physical demand on the workers, better distribute the workload, and so on. So this helps customers to recognize the reality of the work activities they performed and how to optimize it for their needs. Okay, so that's it. Thanks.